What's up, my ninjas? I am Strident, and I am back with another review. And before I get, before I get started, I need to give a shout out to one of my homeboys. Previously, he was one of my homeboys from the GI Joe community, but we're on some other sites together, man, and we've been geeking out over the last couple weeks, month, whatever. I just want to give a shout out to my homeboy, Quinto 218. Big shout out to you, homie. I'm glad that you're that you subscribed, and now you can check out all the geekiness that I do out here on YouTube. It's good to have you, and I'm gonna get on to the review now. It's funny too, because the reason why I thought about this too is that I'm doing, he hit me up, and one of the characters that for whatever reason, I think it's because he posted him a couple times, I always associated Shipwreck with Quinto, and it made me think, hey, shit, I haven't done a review of this figure that I waited for a long time to get. I got this figure last summer, maybe last spring, I couldn't even remember. I finished a freelance gig, and I got a ton of figures off of Amazon, and this was one of them. So I'm gonna get straight to it. This here is the Rise of Cobra Shipwreck. Originally, I had a custom that you'd seen a couple times on here. I'm going to show it to you right now. Bam! That custom actually was my way of modernizing Shipwreck. So I took one of the 25th anniversary pack Shipwrecks. It was from a 2-pack, I think. And I think it was him versus Copperhead, and I put him on that Skysweeper pilot's body. I think his name was like Air Raid or something like that. But anyway, now I have the real deal. I had been wanting one. I saw it. I was like, reactive impact armor, awesome. I'm getting him. And as you can see, they detailed the hell out of him. He has different arms, slightly different arms, and definitely different hands, which are a plus and a minus. He holds things kind of weird. They resculpted Polly, at least to my knowledge. I've only had one other part of a Shipwreck figure, so you guys could tell me. But you see, it's a little more dynamic because Polly looks alive. She or he is throwing, his wings all over the place, and, it looks like he's in the middle of a sentence. So, when you're making your little dioramas and stuff, and you're posing him, you got cool stuff to have him doing, and he looks more alive. His gear, he came with all, like, Navy SEAL-ish type gear, and I'm like, that's pretty slick, because they've moved away from Shipwreck just being a sailor, quote unquote, just a seaman. Now he's more of a SEAL because that's more combat oriented, and I think fans would kind of identify with that, with all the games where we got to play SEALs and see how effective they are in the field. That would explain why he was necessary for the GI Joe team. So there's Shipwreck. But I like the gear. The gear works really well for him, and for some reason it doesn't really work that well on other characters. I tried to switch it with Wetsuit and Deep Six from Rise of Cobra, and it just didn't work that well. So I like his gear. He's got the machine gun that they all came with, that you see so often in the Rise of Cobra line, with a looks like a spear gun on the top. I don't know, maybe a laser gun, I don't know, but it looks good. Looks good. He's got a huge knife. That's the same knife that's come with the captains from the Mars Trooper triple pack. Everything was well done in this set. You got storage for the flippers, so once he gets on land, put the flippers away and start handling your business. I dig that. It works. It looks nice. It looks official. Looks tactical. Props to them for this. And it's weird because I've heard from so many that this line sucked. And to me, I have yet to really find a ton of figures that suck. I mean, some of the soldiers do, but they're soldiers. You don't really need them. He's got a Desert Eagle. Shipwreck seems like the type of guy who would carry a pretty powerful sidearm. And in the past, they always gave him a little pistol of some sort, like a Beretta or something you can quickly fire. This kind of seems more like what he would do. My custom used the old school pistol that came with most of the Rise of Cobra figures, and many of the Pursuit of Cobra figures too. So it's nice to change up. And here's the custom again. You're getting to see more of his his previous gear, and I picked the one from the 2-pack, the head from the 2-pack, to match that body because he had the navy blue, or the blue, cap. When you see him side by side, though, it kind of is nice to have him wearing the official, the reactive impact armor, the way that it looks, pretty close to the other characters. Sometimes when I'm looking at him and Breaker, I'm like, man, why didn't they just go with that look on all the Joes? Give them armor up top that they wear in different ways and give them different color pants and call it a day. The improvements on the sculpt, the face sculpt, you can kind of see that there's been some improvements made. He doesn't look so strange and kind of small. I do prefer the hands on my custom to the hands he came with. They're kind of weird in that they point the gun a different way. Well, the one he came with. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can pose him in different ways to make it work, but he holds the regular pistol a little bit better than a deagle, and I prefer him having a deagle. It gives him some character, because the only other character of the team that carries a deagle is heavy duty, so it works. But here he is with the regular pistol, and you can see he can cup the gun, chamber it properly, and it just looks more professional. He looks more like an actual operator. It doesn't look so, I don't know, so much like a toy. He doesn't hold the weapon like a toy. Here you see the two polys side by side, and you get to see how kind of generic the first one seemed. It seemed almost like a dummy. I mean, those claws look too big, the head looks too big, the body looks fat. It just looks kind of lazy. And then you can clearly see which one is the superior sculpt and which one's better. I prefer the, the newer one, because it just looks the part. It doesn't look stupid, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes they can improve on things. And while the custom doesn't look bad, this one looks more, well, I don't know how else to explain it except for more official, and I dig it, I've said it a bunch of times. And, one thing about Shipwreck, you got to have him in your team, because he is one of the characters that adds personality to a pretty serious group of characters. And he's always slacking, except for when it counts. And then he mans up and does what he needs to do. And that's pretty cool. And you can see that with him gearing up with the team, quote unquote. So anyway, he's definitely a win. If you have him, if you see him, get him. If you have him, props to you, because you picked a good character to have. There are a lot of versions out there. I think this is one of the better versions, because it's more tactical and more on point with his actual specialty, and it gives you a reason to have him on the team, as opposed to just Deep Six or Torpedo or Wetsuit. Now you have another guy to pick from that actually has a specialty that makes him useful on your Joe team. So yeah, on to the next person. And I figured it'd be fitting to do a review of his quote-unquote love interest, Covergirl. Now, I got her, I want to say, for Christmas. And this was one that just kept eluding me. I used to see her in the store all the bloody time. Every time I went to Target, she was there. And for whatever reason, I just never picked her up. I don't know. Maybe she just didn't appeal to me yet. I hadn't been completely sold on this line in terms of, the figures themselves. I don't know. Maybe she was just too plain. I didn't get what the appeal was. But she was based on the character played by Carolina Kurkova, who actually is a model in real life. And it's weird. I don't think this woman is the most, beautiful woman ever. I mean, she looks the part. You can tell she's a supermodel. You can tell she's European as I don't know what, just by looking at her. But, there's a lot of complaints about the figure being, butt ugly and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know. I personally don't totally see it, I think it's one of those things where some people are going to look for it and see it because, figures usually have a little bit of an off sculpt. So it doesn't look exactly like the woman. But some people said, they went as far as to say she looks like a man. I don't know, I don't agree, but I got her in my collection, and that's all that matters. We're going to move on to her weapons. She's got what looks like 2 Glocks and a TAR-21, as well as a I don't know, a G.I. Joe MacBook Pro. Or, you know, a little laptop, you know. I don't know, they're well detailed, really small. The laptop opens up. You've seen that one with various, countless other Joe characters. They just didn't have that symbol on the laptop. She kind of holds the tar pretty good, and she kind of holds the pistols pretty good. And it's cool because they made this version of Covergirl a weapon specialist. And I was like, wow, okay, weapon specialist. I can do it. I can dig it. It makes sense. Everyone has more of an updated, more necessary role this time in the Joe, you know, world, the Joe verse, and that's why I was interested in getting these figures. But like I said, she's a very simple figure, very plain. The woman who played her is pretty plain, but you can see with the design, as the design was recreated with the toy, they pretty much got all the details just like they appeared in the movie. I mean, there's tiny little differences if you want to really like split hairs, but overall, those boots look like the boots she had in the film. The camo looks like the camo she had in the film. Just a little bit bluer, and that's one of the draws for me. I dig this camo because it's not a common type of camo for anybody, so it fits that this would be specifically for the Joe team. Here she is in comparison to a male Joe, so you can see her height. She's about the same height as many of the other female figures. I want to say she's the same height as the Scarlet with the same colored gear on, you know. But yeah, they didn't. The scale is still there. The details are there. I love the little ID badge. It's really slick. It's a nice touch. She just has some really simple designs. Here she is compared to other female characters. This is Boomer. She's one of the customs I'm working on. She's going to be in the hardcore short that I'm working on now. You can see she looks like a girl. Here's Boomer's head on that body. So if you did want to make more female Joe Troopers from, you know, the movie style, it would work. The head is in you know, proportion. It comes from a Star Wars Princess Amidala figure. I can't remember which one, but it's one of the lines that's in Toys R Us right now. I saw this at Kroger and I was like, huh, okay, let's try this. And here is Covergirl on the Lady J body. And it kind of looks nice. The skin tones match really closely. You can see Boomer's is slightly off, but those skin tones match. And once you see cleavage, for some reason, it helps add to her, you know, womanliness. And, you know, I've heard people say that she looked like a man, and I don't think she looks like one, you know? She looked like a girl, straight up. So, I don't know, I'm happy with this figure. And here she is standing next to Master Chief, so you can see how tall they are in comparison to her, or how tall she is in comparison to them. And, you know, that's really it. I'm happy with the figure. You can see there's so many uses, so many things you could do. But I don't really have any complaints. She has the proper articulation. The paint was done well. The, you know, her weapon count is nice. There's really nothing to ask for. If you know who Covergirl is, if this is the version you like, pick her up. She's worth it. So, anyway, that is it for me. I just wanted to go through and do this. For some reason, I was feeling this urge to do a toy review, and then I realized I hadn't done one of them. So, here we go. So anyway, I will be back with another review sometime soon. We're getting really close to my kid coming. So, yeah, I'm going to go tackle that stuff. So I will talk to you guys later. Peace.